Let's make a Louise Carmen-inspired journal. First, we need a leather material, but I don't have a legitimate one, so I'm repurposing this cheap keyboard mat made out of synthetic leather. Then, an elastic cord. I bought the most accessible one. I also bought a puncher and eyelet set. I honestly should have bought grommets, but this should do. I've listed some other stuff I used. I already have these at home, so I didn't need to buy most of the materials. So I've laid down the leather just so I could get a feel of the whole thing and started with a template. Honestly, I only eyeballed this. I didn't even follow the instructions I found online, and I needed a bigger canvas, so I taped together 2 bond papers. Then I grabbed my filler notebook and used it as my reference for measuring how big my journal will be. And then I got scared of using my only leather, so I attempted to do the whole thing using my repair leather, which is basically just a sticker material. So here I'm punching a hole at the middle of the second pane and the sides with 6 holes at the top and at the bottom. Apparently, a normal puncher would have worked fine in this kind of material, and the synthetic black leather I intended to use for my actual journal. The only problem is my puncher is too small, so I had to force some holes at the areas that it couldn't reach. After some practice at attaching the eyelets, I proceeded to tape the template onto the leather material so it wouldn't move much when I cut it. In this case, my cutter won't cut the leather, so I ended up using a pair of scissors instead. As you can see, I'm forcing a hole here in the middle with a pocket screwdriver. This is legit DIY. And this is me trying to use the eyelet puncher and the eyelets for the first time. Of course, it's not perfect. The leather seems wrinkly, but it isn't supposed to be perfect anyway. It's already beautiful as it is. Also, given the fact that it's my first time doing this, I think I did quite a good job. I'm also cutting the corners so they don't look as sharp. I like my corners rounded a bit. For the strings, I'm not really sure how I ended up with the measurement. I just eyeballed it and made sure that it's not too loose and not too tight for my notebooks and inserts. It's important, however, that they are consistent in size. Don't panic if it looks like the strings are pulling the letters inwards. It's normal as long as it doesn't stay that way when you put your notebook inserts inside. So this is what my Louise Carmen-inspired journal looks like. What do we think? I think it's pretty good for a first-timer. I do think it needs a bit more of customization. Maybe some charms to go with the strings, or I don't know, I could stitch some pockets. What else do you think I should do with this?